Hello, it's Allan Laboucan here with the Rocks and Stocks News Show. I've got another of my In the News segments. We've had several companies that I follow very closely have had news out today. So we're going to talk about those news releases. Let me just bring up the first one here, which is Dynasty Gold. Dynasty announced today that they had, let me just pull the news release up there. Dynasty Gold extends high-grade gold mineralization in hole DP 2203 by 22.5 meters to 73.5 meters at 8.42 grams per ton gold. They announced that this was new sampling of previously unsampled sections of the core from holes DP 22-02 and DP 22-03 from the last drill program. They say that mineralization has been extended from 51 meters to 73.5 meters at an average grade of 8.42 grams per ton gold, which includes 6.5 meters of 72.23 grams per ton gold. Additionally, they recalculated assays in DP 2202, and that has improved the average grade from 189 meters to 223 meters to 5.98 grams per ton gold. And there's a quote from Ivy Chong, who's the CEO of the company. She stated, and I quote, "We are pleased to receive these new assays from unsampled sections of the previously reported drill holes, which significantly increase the grade and length of intersected mineralization. The property has the geological characteristics consistent with an orogenic gold system. Historic drilling was primarily focused on near-surface mineralization. Our last drilling program was designed to start testing the depth potential with our deepest holes drilled to date. We are excited to start our next drill program. This will give us a chance to expand on the known high-grade zones and test further at depth," end quote. So, yeah, this is a very exciting project. It's in Dryden, Ontario. It's not very far from Red Lake, Ontario. They talk about the similarities or the characteristics of an orogenic gold system, those being that you are in a greenstone belt, you've got the structural controls, these deep-seated structures that are needed to pump the system with high-grade to bonanza-grade gold. They've definitely seen that. One of their holes hit 3 meters. This was a previously reported hole, 3 meters of 151 grams of gold with 1.5 meters of 246 grams of gold. So they've got, as they say, the characteristics of a orogenic gold system. They've got the greenstone belt, they've got the deep-seated structures, and they've got the high-grade to bonanza-grade gold in the system. I'm very excited about this project. As I said earlier, you know, these kind of systems can be very successful. One of those is not too far away, is the Red Lake mine that was mined by Gold Corp. They were one of the lowest cost producers of gold when they were mining it, and they had a very low cost, high grade, high margin operation, and it made Gold Corp one of the best performing stocks during that time that they were mining that. Now, what's also important is that at the Red Lake mine, they had to go down to 1,000 meters to get into the bonanza grade gold zone, and that continued for another 1,000 meters. So that's just the nature of these kind of systems. Now, what makes this project quite unique at Thundercloud for Dynasty is that they're still most of the drilling in the past was done in the top part of the system, close to surface, and now they're starting to test down deeper but they're still very close to surface, still only a couple 250 meters of vertical depth from the surface, and they're getting these bonanza grades. In the past, there was no visible gold in the core, so that's an indication that they're still very high in an orogenic gold system. But being high in the gold system in the fine grain portion of it, it's quite encouraging to see those kind of grades so high in the system in the fine grain portion of it. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this drilling that is upcoming. I think they're probably only a few weeks away from starting drilling. So do your homework on Dynasty Gold. They are a sponsor of my shows. I follow them very closely in my reports, and they're giving us more reasons to follow them closely. Alrighty, so the next company that I wanted to talk about is Athena Gold. They announced that they commenced their 2023 RC drill program at their flagship Excelsior Springs project in Nevada. This is located 45 miles southwest of Goldfield in Esmeralda County. It's a 100% owned project. They're planning 1,500 meters, focused on expanding the footprint of the newly discovered shallow high-grade gold, oxide gold in the western slope zone, with 30-meter incremental step-outs along the strike, both east and west. Here they tell you about some of the high-grade hits that they had, and for an oxide system, these are very high-grade. Sorry, 33.5 meter intercept of 5.15 grams of gold, including a 16.7 meter intercept of 10 grams of gold, and a 10.6 meter intercept of 15.3 grams per ton of gold. That was in DB23. DB2201 intersected 6 grams over 27.5 meters, starting at 39.5 meters down the hole, or from surface, including 10 grams of silver and over 10 meters. I think that should be gold, actually. A deeper zone starting at 77 meters intersected 4.97 grams of gold over 13 meters, and DB2202 was another nice strong hit of oxide gold with very high grades. And so here you can see those DB holes that they talk about, 23, 22, and 2101. So now they're going to start following this along strike, and good access. There's a road right there that they can drill from. Here's a cross section that shows those intersections and the kind of rocks that it's in. Yeah, so they're going to go at this hard. Now, the nice thing about oxides close to surface is you don't have to drill a lot of deep holes to hit that mineralization. And looking at this area, it has on the northern end, there's a big structure. On the southern end, there's a big structure. In between, there is a large altered area. When the gold-bearing fluids hit the country rock, they chemically alter that rock. So you've got the plumbing system in the faulting. You've got the evidence from the alteration that they're in a big system, and then they've hit it with the drill hole sort of in the middle of the alteration halo. So they've got a lot of room to grow this. It looks like it could be a very big system, a very big oxide system. Oxide deposits are not easy to find in Nevada. They've been pretty picked over the last 40 or 50 years. But you start getting these kind of grades and some size to it, and it's going to catch a lot of attention by the major mining companies because they love these kind of deposits. So there you go. That's the Athena news. They're a sponsor as well. Not too long ago, I did an interview with them. You can find that on my YouTube channel at Rocks and Stocks News. You can also find it on my Substack at rocksandstocks.substack.com. All right, another sponsor that had out very good news was Sokoman. Sokoman is part of a joint venture with Benton Resources on this project that they call the Golden Hope joint venture. It's a 50-50 deal, and they're targeting lithium and critical minerals. They talked about the 2022 drilling returned 1.04% lithium over 15.23 meters, including 4 meters of 1.43, and there was some other nice hits in there. They're continuing to test the all 10 holes have intersected spodumene bearing dikes ranging from less than a meter to 20 meters. They're talking about continuing to drill the Killick dike area, plus any new dike discovered in the ongoing soil geochemical entrenching program along strike to the east of the Kraken pegmatite field, where lithium and soil geochemical anomalies of similar strength to the Kraken discovery dike area were found 4 kilometers along strike to the east of any known dikes. They announced to mobilize a second drill to test the hydrocesium lithium tantalum target 10 kilometers northeast of Killick. Trenching is ongoing to expose the dike and help plan for drilling. The hydro dike is host to high-grade cesium as polysite, as well as significant lithium, tantalum, and rubidium values with the 1.2 meter channel sample from grading. And there's the grades that you can see in the news release. Here is some of their coarse-grained spodumene. This is what you're looking for in these pegmatite dikes. This spodumene is what hosts the lithium mineralization. Here's some of the medium-grained spodumene, and there's their camp. And here's where they're drilling. These brown areas are areas of interest that seem to be a pretty good indicator of where you're going to find these spodumene discoveries. And Stephen Stairs, who's the president and CEO of Benton, said, and I quote, "We continue to be excited about the potential of the Kraken dike system and the Killick dike zone. The rate of success in expanding the lithium zones and drilling continues to show that we are truly in a new lithium, cesium, tantalum belt. We look forward to our continued success as we move the project along." End quote. Tim Froud, who's the president and CEO of Sokoman, says, "We are off to a great start at Golden Hope, and we expect the 5,000-meter drill program to be completed before the end of summer, giving us plenty of time to build on significant results and plan for additional drilling. Coupled with the ongoing soil sampling and prospecting programs, this will be a defining year for the project." End quote. So these kind of systems are very important in the lithium world. The main source of those kind of deposits are in Australia, and now they're a leader in lithium production from these pegmatite deposits that have spodumene mineralization. And it's a very important source of lithium needed for batteries in automobiles and other places, telephone, cellular phones, that kind of stuff. And Canada has a tremendous potential because the rocks are of a similar age in Canada as in Australia, where these deposits are found, but there hasn't been as much exploration and development in Canada for these kind of deposits, but it has all the right geological characteristics. And the joint venture between Benton and Sokoman have an excellent opportunity here at their Kraken project, a Golden Hope joint venture. And yeah, there's the news. Take a look and do your homework. Sokoman is a sponsor as well. I have done several interviews with Tim Froud, who's the CEO, and you can find that on my YouTube channel at Rocks and Stocks News, or also on my Substack at rocksandstocks.substack.com. Alrighty, Goliath is also a sponsor, not too old one, just a couple months, but they're really they've got, I think, one of the most important new gold discoveries in the Golden Triangle. And a couple days ago, or yesterday, they announced that that they have visible gold has been identified in GD 23-111, which is the first hole of the 2023 at a depth of 33.13 meters from pad TS01. The occurrence of visible gold strongly indicates the potential for very high-grade intervals in a zone dubbed the Golden Gate Feeder Zone. They talk about the first pad that was chosen based on snow conditions. There's a picture of the visible gold and where it came from in the core. They talk about the details of the interval of sulfide mineralization characterized by veins, stringers, and patches of semi-massive pyrrhotite, up to 2% with minor sphalerite and quartz stockwork and breccia. This is the kind of rock that you want to be seeing. Then they have a picture here which shows the quartz sulfide breccia and the quartz and two intersections of the quartz sulfide breccia. So you're seeing the quartz is in the white, and it has sulfides around it. Very good stuff. That's what you want to see. They say that the main mineralized interval is interpreted to be the northeast extension of the Bonanza Shear that defines the contact between the sedimentary units and the underlying volcanic units. Localized skarn-style alteration containing garnets has been observed, further suggesting the presence of a potential porphyry feeder source at depth. They did a technical study on this potential for a porphyry feeder at the Colorado School of Mines, and it does suggest that there is a porphyry that's feeding all this mineralization. When they put that news release out, they talked about the depth, or that paper out, but they have it because they're going down a hill. It's not as deep. They think they can get at it with their drilling. So I'm very excited about that. The gold, and they call it the Golden Gate Feeder Zone. High-grade gold mineralization located at the transition between the shearbed zone and the extension zone. It is characterized by high-grade and wide intercepts of gold mineralization where several structures that act as a potential fluid conduits meet. And so that's a good indicator when you get these faults that come together. That's often a place where you can find in close proximity to that where the feeder zone is. They talk about visible gold that was found in the 2022 drilling that had very high grades in it. So they're off to a good start. They talk about the plans of the drill program. There's a couple of key faults that come down here, and one that comes in from over here, and they have a focal point right around here, which is very exciting because you've got this shearbed zone that's quite large. Its average is 6.88 meters at a grade of 6.31 grams per ton of gold. And it has other zones sitting on top of it like layers of a cake. Here they show you some of the outcrops at their gold swarm zone. There's a quote here. I want to get to that quote. They give you lots of great details. So definitely go to their website and check the news release out so you can do more homework on the project. But Roger Rasmus, who is the founder and CEO of Goliath, states, "We are off to an exciting 2023 drill season where visible gold and substantial intervals of sherbet style sulfide mineralization has been confirmed in the first exploratory hole of the year. It is a 250-meter step out, expanding upon a previously unknown area of mineralization to the northeast of Pad A, where GD 22-49 also contained visible gold. Mineralization confirmed in GD 23-111 strongly indicates the presence of a large mineralizing system and potential feeder source in the Golden Gate feeder zone. The planned 18,000-meter drill program is designed to expand the footprint of the Sherbet Zone and Bonanza Shear in all directions and includes a maiden drill program at the newly discovered high-grade gold-silver gold swarm zone located 4 kilometers on strike to the northeast of Sherbet that is believed to be part of the same mineralizing system feeding Sherbet. Sherbet is shaping up to become the next big high-grade gold-silver discovery in the Golden Triangle. We look forward to reporting assays with much anticipation. I think some of that's a bit of an understatement. When you talk about the Sherbet zone being the size it is with stacked layers on top of it, averages about 6 meters and over 6 grams. That is suggestive of a very powerful mineralizing system. And then you look at the structures that give you the indication of where that gold mineralization is being fed from. But the idea that their gold swarm zone, which is 4 kilometers away, could be part of the same feeder system suggests that you have a very powerful gold mineralizing system, gold, silver, and other metals mineralizing system. And so all of these things collectively are pointing towards a very big discovery. I think it could be one of the most important new discoveries in the Golden Triangle of British Columbia, which is a very prolific region. So stay tuned. They're drilling up a storm. Do your homework. Check out this news release because they give you a lot of great details. Okay, the final company today is McEwen Mining, and they announced that McEwen Copper announces results of an updated preliminary economic assessment on a copper leaching phase of development at the Los Azules project in San Juan, Argentina. Let's get to the highlights. Average annual copper cathode production of 401 million pounds during the first 5 years of operation and 322 million pounds over the 27-year life of mine. Total copper recoverable to cathode 8.68 billion pounds based on the LOM extraction of mineralized material containing approximately 11.9 billion pounds of total copper and average copper recovery of 72.8%. After-tax net present value of 2.649 billion. So they're trading at a small fraction of that NPV. Internal rate of return over 21.2% and a payback period of 3.2 years at 3.75 per pound of copper. Initial capex 2.4 billion. Project capital intensity of 7.66 per pound of copper. Average cash cost of $1.07 per pound of copper, all-in sustaining costs of $1.64 per pound. Average EBITDA per year of 1.1 billion from years 1 through 5, 692 million from years 6 through 27. They talk about the carbon intensity, site-wide water consumption, mineralized material placed on heap leach pad with an in situ total copper grade of 0.46% and in situ soluble copper grade of 0.31%. So there's a lot of great details in here. I can't go into all of them. Down here, you'll also see some important information about the work that Newton is doing. Newton is a venture of Rio Tinto, and Rio Tinto has this technology. I'm just getting down to it here, and they give you some very good details about that, the advantages of the Newton technology. And Newton is a significant shareholder in McEwen Copper. They own about 14% of it. And so they give you this details about this copper heap leaching technology, of which Newton is a venture of Rio Tinto. They became a strategic partner in 2022. They're doing work on the property, on the material. They're doing a preliminary scoping testing where they give you details of the results of that. They talk about outcomes modeling using the Newton proprietary computational fluid dynamics model. Yeah, so there's lots of great details in there about this Newton. Not only do I think you should take a look at the preliminary economic assessment, but also take a look at this information about Newton. It's a very big deal in this in the big picture of this Los Azules project. You know, in a general sense, you know, the copper mining, the world needs more copper, and the mining sector needs more big copper projects that can become future mines. And the big mining companies need copper mining projects because they're not able to replace those old mines that are getting very old in a lot of cases. And we need more new discoveries in order to make the energy revolution and the electric vehicle revolution happen. And there's just not enough new discoveries and new development projects in the pipeline. And this is the kind of project that a major mining company would want to develop. So I think they got a lot of great things happening. McEwen Mining owns 52% of McEwen Copper. The other portion is owned 14% by Rob McEwen, around the same percent for Newton, the Rio Tinto venture, and another around the same percentage for Stellantis, which is one of the big three car makers in the world. So yeah, they've got a lot of great things going on, and I'm going to try and get Rob McEwen on an interview so we can talk more in depth about this, and he can give us his insights into what all the importance of all this information in the news release today. So there you go, folks. That's the show for today. As always, my shows are for information purposes only. It's important for you to do your homework, speak with your financial advisors, check out the company's presentations and news releases on their websites to make you more informed about what these companies have. But thanks for joining me with the In the News show today. On that note, have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.